Hello, friends. We're back. We took a little bit of time off, had some turkey, but we're back in the studio as always. This week is great. We've got Ty co-hosting. I know everyone wants more Ty all the time. And we are talking to Shea, who is a current counselor. You'll find out in the pod, I did have Shea as a camper. I taught her how to swim, apparently not very well. But it was really good talking to her, getting her perspective on a bunch of things. Shea was in video, which is becoming a theme. There are a lot of us, and in adventure. And we talked about that, kind of like what the big three activities are. And we also talked about a 5-year-old camp time capsule. So stick around for that. You guys are not going to believe it. This was a good one. And yeah, keep those emails coming. camptimefcdc@gmail.com. Hope you enjoy it. And yeah, rate, review, smash that subscribe button. You know the drill. Enjoy. Shea, so we talked about this a little over email. You were trying to figure out a time and you're like, P.S. you taught me how to swim. And I was like, oh my God, I didn't know that, or I had forgotten. And I was like, I'm so sorry. That was always like my nightmare, to have forgotten a kid. And here we are. So I want to, in front of the dozens upon dozens of people who are listening, formally apologize. Well, some are me multiple times, but that's fine. So,
well, to your credit, I didn't even remember, but I was always with somehow my group, like growing up, they'd always call my age group like the nepotism kids, because I was with like Trisha Giddings. I don't remember who else, but they like loved calling us that. And I remember Kelly when we were talking about how your son was at camp, like told me that because she remembered it was Trisha. And I don't even want to tell you that I am a horrible swimmer to this day.
Yeah, but she's known for being a terrible swimmer.
Oh no.
It's not true.
Oh no. Well, so what you said, you were like 5, so you were in junior camp when you had me for swim?
Yeah, I guess I was a warrior which you shouldn't even, you can't be held accountable for anything, but anybody taught me that.
So, oh dear. We're gonna have to figure this out. Well, yeah, junior camp. So, although I will say, because I know that if anyone from the state is listening, those swim lessons, they will teach you how to swim, and you will be good. Yeah, that's fine.
You might get a card.
We had a day this summer where we did head counselor swap, and Ty and I got put in charge of junior campers for the day.
The best day.
Which I went from 13-year-old to like, and I'm also an adventure where like, everyone has to listen to me because it's so dangerous out there that my authority is like so important, that they take it a little more seriously. So I was like so excited to be silly all day and be with the 5-year-olds, and it was fun for like 2 minutes. It's so exhausting, like constant bad guy, like they're so fun, but it was just like, especially when we don't have that established authority with them. It was insane. It was insane.
I found that my assistants, when I did that, had to keep telling me, you're not supposed to do that with them. I was like, oh, sorry. We're supposed to be over here now, Ty. You should have the towels out already. I'm like, okay, it's first day.
I did. I had the now I can't remember.
Tadpoles?
The cup. The tadpole. I had the tadpole, of course. Me and cousin Caroline, our new favorite counselor, she was new this year, swapped, so she had the oldest kids and I had the tadpoles for an amazing day.
That's crazy. And then you had, who did you have, Ty?
Like I had the Cubs, and that was excellent. Yeah, the Cubs were great. I held their water bottles. That's all we did all day. It was the best. We played a giant game of tag.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. We've only done that counselor switch one other time, and it was when we were when we did it.
Yeah.
But I
Well,
don't think you were allowed to switch though, right?
pool staff wasn't, as I recall. And I feel like it was unsanctioned to like that we were like we're switching.
Yeah. Like Tom was just like, no, you guys are
I want to
no,
say
no. Tom planned this one out.
so yeah, I want to say there was talk about like Katie with like the Katies and
really?
Scott and them being like, we're gonna switch where we are. And I was like, I don't think you should do that, guys. But it did happen.
No, it was like professionally done. I ended up in like pottery at the ceramic, excuse me.
Oh, excuse. I was like, oh, are we calling it pottery now? That's great.
Well, I did. It was a different type of clay plane.
New head counselor, new rules.
We had a wheel. Yeah.
Exactly. So Shea, did you go the whole like start as whenever you started and just you've been there ever since?
I did, yeah. We had a neighbor who went a year older than me who like found FCDC, thankfully, when I was really young. So I got to go Warrior to Cheyenne. I was like a session 2 and 3 kid every year, and it was the best. And then I never stopped. So
love it.
I took 1 year off actually, but now I'm still here.
Tell me about being the camp artist.
Yes.
When I was a first year CIT at the orientation, you're just like so nervous, and you are a kid and you are coworkers with full adults. It's what it feels like in your head, and you don't want to. You're just like so excited to be there. And at orientation, Tom asked if anybody was artistic at all, and without hesitation, I was like, me, I can't, because you just want to stand out at all. And that accidentally got me in this rabbit hole of being, because they just like to take everything as far as possible. As the camp artist, like probably like 6 years, I was titled as the camp artist, where I made all of the, he made me do posters for every theme of the week, and they would go up all over the camp. And at the beginning of the summer, I would make the team, like when we switched to red, white, and blue, the team names and who was on them, which was always fun, but like there was always a few consequences. Like I spelled one counselor's name wrong. Brian was a head counselor one summer, and I spelled his name Brain.
You're responsible for Brain.
Yeah.
Or accidentally, I gave this man a nickname for the entirety of whenever he's referenced. Like he's just Brain, because I one year completely spelled it wrong, and it was a complete full-time job outside of camp. Like I took it so seriously.
Of course,
that's what I was going to ask.
Maybe a camp T-shirt at the end of the summer, like maybe that. But it was fun.
Were you already artsy, or did like this like bring out, because you ended up in art school? So like
I am an art major in college. I guess I wish I could credit it to being the camp artist, but I definitely had that in me before. But maybe, camp being the great place that is, like the constant validation.
Yeah, I think it did that.
Camp artist, I think maybe it boosted my ego a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I could major in art, of course.
I'm an amazing artist. I see the like as a first year CIT, Tom being like, does anyone have a talent? And you're like, I got this. And now you're an art major. So so you're drawing the posters and doing everything else. Would he ever be like our camp artist Shea? I can see him being like really selling it, and the camp being like, yeah, it's a thing.
What a hype man.
Yeah. It was like such an honorary title. So I was I'm sure me volunteering, when I think about it now, it's so embarrassing to me. Like, me, I'll do it. And they're like, who is this little kid? Yeah, I was the camp artist, and like Ty can attest to this. Very similar to Mary Pantiago. I was also the art historian. If anyone had any questions about anything, like the facade, anything at camp, I knew about it. I would like more on the history of it, and also it was a blessing and a curse, because now, even to this day, it's like when we make the rules at the beginning of the summer, I'll get like, can you just do like a few bubble letters for us at the beginning? And I'm like, okay. Like, I don't think I'm that much better at like letters than anybody else, but it's okay.
Yeah, just start us off. We can. That's what we need.
Show us the direction the shadowing's going. Yeah. I'm surprised that didn't turn into like like during skits. Like, I can see like, you like drawing something and then having Mary like talk through it, and then like did I just plan for summer 2022?
Sounds it. It's the best thing when like you accidentally say something like that Mary is the camp historian, and then all of a sudden the whole year long she's in like videos about it. She's little did she know.
No, it's an official title. Like, this is now a real thing that exists, and that's amazing. And like the other thing about it is like I can see wait, Ty, were you here when that happened, or was that during your
I was away during
period?
that time.
Okay.
No, it was a dark period for me.
But okay. Because I can picture Tom. I can both picture Tom asking the question at orientation and like not letting him relinquish the like doing the art on the like daily schedules and stuff.
And like, it wasn't until I became a head counselor, Tom actually pulled me aside. So it's because it's so serious that I was a camp artist, and asked if it would be okay if we handed it down to a younger counselor this year, because my hands would probably be so full in the head position. And I was like, I'll get over it. I think it's all right. Time.
But you were able to carry it on from CIT into assistanthood as well?
I have the privilege. That question did not come up again at orientation until I became a head counselor. It was an assumption every year that I would.
That's funny, because I always just assumed that the person like knew, like we just like knew who that, because it's always, and I've never been there for the conversation of who gets to be the camp artist.
And like, no complaint. I love doing art, but the box that they put you in when they decide is like so funny. And even though as an assistant you like and sketch, you rotate, and they try to get you in everywhere. I was in arts and crafts every summer.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
For one part of my summer, because I was the artist and I had to be. Like session
you want
one,
them where they can succeed.
Always,
right.
Yeah.
Well, there are definite like tracks. Like I will say, I was never in arts and crafts. Like there are tracks. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, they're like, oh, she likes art, so she can do arts and crafts, maybe ceramics, and maybe junior camp.
Yeah, exactly.
It is funny, like the unspoken track. And this summer they kept talking about, I feel like it was Ty, he kept saying like, oh, but you're in the big 3 of activities. And I don't even remember what it was. It was like boating, archery, and adventure. Like, you're in the big 3. And I was like, what?
I mean,
yeah, you are. Absolutely.
Yeah, I guess.
But they broke it down this year into more of like, okay, and then what do we think about from the arts majors, and what do you think from the woods? Like, it was, they broke us up into that, and I really enjoyed that classification.
Me too.
Wait, is this an official classification?
I don't know. It was this year.
Really?
Yeah, Sam was going around. Like, yeah, the artist, the video, the wood lore is kind of in between.
Yeah, I was a very interdisciplinary activity.
When I saw that they had changed over to troops this year, I thought, okay, that's fine. And then when I got the scoop that there was also the additional troop, the Moose, and that was like 1 year older because of the pandemic year. So Shea, you were the head counselor of the Moose, right? So how old are those kids?
Those kids would have been first year CITs this past summer, but camp wanted to give them their last year that they didn't get to do with COVID. So they were a bunch of 13-year-olds that came to camp, and they were excited to come to camp, but it is such a jump from 12 to 13, and I had to learn that pretty quickly. But my biggest challenge, like, they're all like, didn't know, if they were too cool to do some certain things, and boys and girls are a little funny together at that age. So I just had to like rip the Band-Aid off right away, all 3 sessions. And my strategy a lot of the time was just to be like the least cool person ever as their figurehead. And I was like so outrageously goofy that they just had to like succumb a little bit to like some of my madness, or I made it feel like we were I always acknowledged that they had been at camp for a long time, that they maybe, you know, knew all the rules going into or knew how to do an activity, but that like this was a special year to come back and they still had to you know, respect the counselor. But I tried to make it seem like everything they were doing was like a little cooler than everybody else, just in their head. I was like, but all during troop time, that's hard to say, I would make things seem like we weren't allowed to be doing them. I would always get the okay from Sam. So I'd be like, would it be okay if we went out and like, you know, did this, like went to the blueberry patch farther than you're supposed to go? And I made it seem like it was the whole thing. So I tried to make everything like exciting and like sneaky with them, just to get them back. And it ended up being a really good summer. I had like the best group. Once they all came back and like remembered what a good special place it is, they were so fun. And I had like
they melted into campers from their like teen exterior. They're just like, you just watch them all melt into like having fun.
And I would be doing these activities with them at troop time, and Sam or Billy would walk by and be like, how did you get them to do that? Like we did nail salon, we did like a spa day, because I had it was mostly 13-year-old boys for the first month. So then I had like a spa day where I put oatmeal on their face and cucumbers, and we like meditated. But then we always had a few like catty preteens, which I always thought was hilarious. But like one girl, when we did the facials, told everybody that oatmeal on your face causes cystic acne.
Okay. She knows the deal. Okay.
And I was like, whatever you want. There was always like a different, you know, like definitely something that you wouldn't get from a 7-year-old. But I kept me on my toes.
Did all of the moose want to be CITs, like including the ones who were like too cool? Did you know though they want to be CITs, or was this like my mom's making me go to camp?
Some of them were definitely like very self-aware. They were like, oh, I'm going to be playing sports in high school, and like this is my last summer to do that, which I always thought was like kind of funny and sweet. And then a lot of them did want. I had I wasn't nervous at all, but I had Eli Cowell, so the camp director's son, in my group. So I was already like nervous to have the teens. I felt like no matter what I did, it was going to be reported back to the boss.
Yeah.
But a lot of them did want to like have they ended up wanting to apply to be CITs or asking to put in a good word. And we had a surprisingly like a decent number of new campers, which is crazy at that age.
Ridiculous, right?
Wow. Yeah.
And a few of them that were brand new at age 13 at the silliest place in the world did all express interest about becoming CITs, and I was like totally encouraging them to come back, because which says a lot about how fun it is. And
when they decided to do the extra tribe, did you get the heads up from Sam? Was he like, hey, I'm gonna give them to you, or no, it was just surprise?
Not at all. I knew probably a few days before camp about the whole. I've been at school, and I definitely wasn't like prepping at all really, because camp, which I love about it, is very much the same every single year. And I had already had my certification rollover and stuff, so I didn't have to even think about it. And then they sent me a picture of the new post, and with all of them, and I was like, noticed that there was an extra one, and Sam was shocked himself because he's so prepared. He's like, oh, I didn't mention to you that these are our rollover like 13-year-old campers. And I was so nervous, but I have always been, even though I love I love being goofy, but they for some reason always put me in with the older kids. And I said on the first day, even at orientation, I was like, And if anybody like has a crush on each other or, you know, pulls out a cell phone, like I'll leave. Like I'll tell them to cut it out right away. Like I can't deal with any of that. It's camp. So it ended up being okay. I was definitely nervous.
Wow.
Shea was a real piper for them. It was amazing.
So I want to say that, did you have a hat that was a moose?
Cuz had that.
Was that you? Or
Caroline, well, you said you came on head counselor switch day. That was not me. That was the tadpole head counselor brought her own moose hat the day that we switched, and she was the head of the moose for the day. But she had pulled that out the last week of session 3.
Yeah, like had it the whole time.
Yeah. Wait, you said she was a new counselor?
Yeah.
Cuz took over for Bonnie.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Big shoes.
And was incredible too.
Yeah?
Yes, we loved her. Cousin Caroline.
Do we think we have it? Do you think she'll be back? You think she wants to
Yeah.
come on the pod?
She's got it, yeah.
She's a for lifer. We kept saying, yeah.
Awesome. Good. Yeah, we can't have a lot of high turnover in that first group.
No.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we had the privilege of cleaning out Bonnie's room that hadn't been touched for, Bonnie was there forever, like,
right.
And just had accumulated so much stuff because she was always doing like fun crafts and stuff.
Yeah.
But just like it was like a little bit hoardery. Cleaning up.
As I'm like kind of like going through and talking to people, I'm realizing is pretty par for the course. Like if you're there for a long, long time, you tend to like kind of jump around a little. I mean, Ty, you're now doing Ty time.
As someone who's jumped around once. Yes.
The one time to theater in a different part of camp.
We'll probably jump back, but still.
Yeah,
you know?
right. Yeah. No, I know. We'll have to, I'll be curious in a couple of months when people start figuring it out, like if they're coming back or not, to see how it pans out. I'm like very interested in the scheduling of everything.
I had Jack, my age group, for some reason we like looped with him, and Jack Cal was my head counselor like 3 times.
Really?
Yeah, I had Jack for head counselor a bunch, which is so fun as a camper. It's always funny to have, I know when you were talking on like Scott's episode that they were like the cool counselors, which like thinking back, I'm like, oh, that was fun because we had the world's worst cookout in the world. I had always with Jack Cowell. We like, he bought us frozen pizza bagels, which is okay, but they were burnt on the bottom, like black on the bottom and frozen on the top. And then it started raining.
Jack's fault. Yeah.
Or like we did a lot of at cookout plans, like you were talking about before.
Yeah,
that's kind of fun and exciting when you're 9.
Were you there when Jack and Scott kind of ascended?
Well, Jack was my assistant, and Jack was my assistant for one session, and he was the best. We had the best time. We did probably my favorite skit that year. That was the one where I just killed all the campers, and
which is fine.
Which is totally fine.
They like it's pretend.
Well, Tom at the end of it said, "Your best one yet." Like, of course.
But because I remember when
I think it's laughable that they were the cool kids is what I mean to say. I think it's the funniest thing. When I heard that, I was like, "Oh, you were you?"
Oh no. Oh, this is
I'm sure they were. You do get very cool as a counselor.
I mean, cool is a different measuring stick at camp, right? It's like cool in the outside world, and then cool within camp are not necessarily, it's not a perfect Venn diagram circle, I would say. But I remember hearing when Jack like became cool, and I was like, I was like, that's so great because I remember him as a literal just born baby. All right. So you, Shea, like me and some other guests who've been on and who will be on, were the head counselor of video. How long did you do that for? And who'd you do that with?
I was the head counselor of video just for 1 year, my first year as a head. Same as you, yeah. And that was super fun. I was just excited to be there. Honestly, I felt like,
Yeah.
I got the call again.
Yes.
That's always,
Yep.
that's always the best from Tom. And I was Mike's, I was his co-head in title, but really he taught me so much because he had done it forever at that point, where he taught me all the editing and software and how it is obviously different behind the scenes than when you're shooting as a camper. But we did that the year of, we made a time capsule, I think, that year. So maybe that was
Really?
summer of 45. So we made all the camp videos that are going to be in a time capsule we dig up this summer. I'll be,
What? Wait.
the director of that.
Whoa. Tell me about this time capsule.
Oh, you didn't know?
No.
I know. I know because we talked about it a lot that summer. There was a time capsule that they had made so long ago. I don't remember the year because I wasn't there. And I guess they tried so hard to find it, like metal detectors everywhere, a million holes, and they could not find this time capsule anywhere.
Oh,
come on.
And I think the year coming up, they want to do something special. This was summer of 45, I think.
Hold on. One side note. Do we refer to the summers now as the year of camp it is? But we're not using like 2021. We're just say like summer of 49.
There was a shift 1 year where it stopped saying camper on the back of the shirt and it just has the year. And with the 50th year coming up, I think that's why. I just remember it being like a big number. And
wait, so the time capsule that we're gonna dig up this year, it's from 5 years ago, not from 50 years ago. I was absolutely under the impression that this was from 50 years ago and that we were gonna find like, I don't know, dinosaur bones at this point. I mean,
we're all gonna look like exactly the same.
5 years ago, that's not you don't dig up a time capsule 5 years later.
I know, a junior camper from that year is like still gonna be a camper.
Yeah. Oh, I remember that year.
I just got into senior camp. This is so funny. I think we should get a heavy duty metal detector and try again for the old one.
That must have disintegrated by age.
Do we know where the time capsule is?
This one I think was under the oak tree, but we did that, which was super fun. And Mike and I accidentally made the longest video ever that summer as well. And
how long?
We were editing the video together, and we always like that was a summer that everybody watched it together, so it could be a little bit longer. Oh. And I think we were always trying to hit like 30 minutes or something like that, and it was almost hard to do sessions 1 and 2. In session 3, we were editing the video together, and it was like an hour and 20 minutes or something.
What?
Insane.
What?
And we were like, absolutely, like, how did this happen? We were freaking out, and we made basically like a highlight reel, these 4 kids, of like what we thought was the funniest, and edited that together in a video. But this is Tom's last summer. Not announced, but like it ended up being Tom's last summer as the camp director. Mm-hmm. And I think he was just like loving it, wanted to do whatever. So we played the highlight reel, and then Tom was like, unbeknownst to us, you guys want to see more? And all the kids were like, woo! So then we like played every single skit that we did, which like is so fun. But like we played everything that was so great in the beginning, and then I think we even had like the sad little like good night FCDC And then we watched all these like B-roll.
Sarah, when you were in video, did you have a tribe while you were in video?
I did, yes.
Yeah, I feel like they used to do that where the video people would still have a tribe.
Yeah. Did you not have a tribe, Shea?
I did have tribes, and that was something it kind of felt like I was missing out on for sure. Because
Of course.
you know, Mike and I would eat lunch in the video room, which is fun.
Yeah.
When it was just like
AC.
a little bit less. Because it's similar to adventure. I liked it because kids are so excited to come to that activity, and they bring like such good energy. You're always gonna have fun.
Yeah.
But I definitely missed out on doing like a tribe on, like even on like carnival days and stuff, like not having
Oh, yeah.
a station, things like that you don't get to do. But I only did it for 1 year, and it was awesome. And we with like Mary being in the video, you have some like influence as the video counselor. And I remember that summer, Tom said at orientation, he was said it super casually. He was like, for cookouts this year, guys, I want you, to try to get creative, like no chicken nuggets at cookouts. And it's just so casual. Mike and I blew that up, and we made a whole skit about how chicken nuggets were banned from camp. And we made everybody put on their rules, like no.
Yeah, we all put it on our rules that year too.
Like the kids trying to figure out why they were banned from camp, and obviously it was inconclusive because it wasn't really a big reason, but it was still super fun. And I think it's still.
And you know what? It's still banned. It's still banned.
So once you were out of video, did you ask Tom to transition to something else, or was he like, oh, maybe try something else?
No, I didn't ask. That was the summer after where I had then gone to college, and then
Gotcha.
spent my money. So I had to take a summer off, and then I got to be the adventure counselor the next time I came back to camp, which was still, it was probably good that I went from 2 time-consuming activities. Like there's not a lot of chill in both of those, because I think maybe then I would have been like a little shocked into the position.
Right.
But I felt like I was able to at least keep up with it. But I had to go to my own adventure camp as well to get certified, which is kind of silly. It was just mine was a bunch of like gym teachers and me.
Oh, really?
The North Shore, yeah, and it was still fun. But being the youngest girl, they were just like, who's gonna be the trust ball? And it was
yeah.
But it was fun. I got a book that I pretend to still reference sometimes when I need an idea.
Sure.
But it's pretty much, the basics still hit pretty hard out in adventure. Like kids, I'm always shocked. Like, will come in and beg for the whale watch, which I'm just like, okay, if you want, like, okay. So, it's just nice, I think.
So what are the, walk us through the elements out there, because they definitely have changed a little bit, again, in the 20 years since I was there. But some are the same. So I guess I would say maybe rank them from what we generally agree are like the best from awesome to good, to use camp parlance. Yeah.
Well, a lot of the ones that I like, again, I don't know how long they've been out there, but I remember them being there, and then I can just tell, like, by looking at them, that a lot of these things have just been there for what feels like forever. Like the tire traverse is always a first day go-to, which is so fun. And we have the peanut butter pit, which is the 3 platforms with a rope that hangs, and you can do a bunch of stuff.
But that's like even more serious nowadays. Like you can't have some kids getting into the peanut butter, right?
Oh yeah, allergies.
It's lava, and we're saving camp, which is always like very high stakes. So it's
very
pretty serious. But we have the log of doom, which I'm gonna give that 2 years before it's like completely mush and rotten. But that is a big tree log that is suspended probably just a couple inches from the ground. You walk across it and it swings a little.
Yep.
And there's everything's of doom. The fidget ladder of doom is out.
Of doom.
Fun. And we have the wall, which is like it's like a privilege for the older kids. If we think you're a good team, they have to bring their whole group over the wall, which is super fun.
Yeah.
Which typically that is how it goes, but we had an Olympic day this summer, and you had to have an event at every activity for the kids to do, an Olympic event, and we did the Olympic wall. So no matter who you were, we had to get you over the wall, which in my head I thought would be super fun, but
Sounds
really
like
it was
a lot of
just me and my
lifting.
poor assistant, like physical labor all day, throwing kids, no matter how big or small you were, over this flat wall. But we got everybody over. So
was the Olympic day, was that a theme day?
Yeah, it was like, was it during the Olympics?
Okay, so it wasn't, was that,
that's when like Billy went down the slip and slide to light the fire.
Yeah. So did you have like a regular camp day, or was that like carnival type stuff?
Yeah. We ended up having, it was basically a regular camp day. I think they switched it around a little bit for like kids that had like double video. They just wanted you to go one time. But we had to make a troop emblem first. So like
there was a real challenge for all the counselors.
Yeah, just for the counselors. It's kind of a lot of work. We had to make all the moves had these headbands with antlers on them, and then you had to make a sticker to go out, and you would give everybody who participated in your event that day of like a participatory sticker, and then we had an award ceremony at things, and you could give a gold medal to a troop or like an individual camper, which was that was fun. That was fun for everybody because you would like be sitting arm in arm with your troop, like, we did really well, like maybe we'll get and that was, for me, it was pretty easy because I just scored like whatever kids got over the wall, like, and were nice about it to each other. But Ty had a great medal ceremony.
But there was 3 categories, which was distance, speed, and style.
Sure.
And and the Moose really like stepped up for style. They really all played the game, and the winner was Chris winning was just like he walked, went to go do something, but tripped and rolled down down the slide, and it was like, well, that's the winner.
Is the triangle still out there at Adventure?
Yes, you have the triangle, traverse, the Bermuda Triangle, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Which is super, I feel like that is probably my favorite to do because it's difficult, which a lot of the things as they get older are, a little juvenile for them to do. But the issue with the triangle traverse is that only one kid gets to go at a time, plus like his 2 spotters.
Spotters.
So I'd always, you saying you would take a lot of time to go over the rules. I would take a lot of time to go over how to spot somebody, which is like, put your hands up. But like in my head, there was a lot of serious consequences if you didn't learn how to spot correctly. So
did you ever make it so you're like, guys, one person's on the wire, but the whole tribe needs to be spotted?
I made up a random spot thing for the fidget ladder that there was a spotter on every single inch going up that ladder. And I was like, guys, they spotted for you. You got to do it for them to keep it up. So it stayed interesting. And then of course we had the cargo net that comes up session 3, which is just the best because they are just so happy to even be in there. Everybody climbs up, and that's the whole activity in itself. And then kids like to just hang out in there, which is like I feel like my 1 week that I get to hang out. So
wait, so that only comes out later in the summer? So do you get kids like when they like 6 weekers, especially, who go out week 5 and are like, yeah, is it like that big a deal? That's really cool.
like you can milk anything at camp. I'm like, at the bridge, I'm like, all right, everybody, eyes closed, like put your hand over your head while we walk out, like I have something to show you. And then it's like a move that bus, like house reveal.
Yeah.
And I'm like, cargo time! Woo! Even though like it's really like just a big hammock, but it's like so fun.
Do you know that way back in the day, so when I was still a camper, not even like the oldest camper there was, they used to have a high wire, like probably set up
Like a high ropes.
the high ropes, like 20 feet up in the air.
No
And
way.
yeah, and that was it sounds like that was kind of what the cargo net is now, because it was one of these, like, not doing that first session, not like we'll do it. And it was the whole thing where they'd like put you in the, like, get the harness and the carabiners and everything. Oh yeah.
How do you get up there? Was there a ladder?
I think, I mean, there must have been, I hope so. Yeah, and it was the whole thing.
I gotta say, I never really enjoyed carnival as a counselor because I was like, oh man, I have to do manual labor for
like 2.5 hours. Yeah.
In the sun. And as fun as we made him, like it was.
Unless you're, so this is where being on the pool staff was great, because we did diving for pennies. Okay. So we'd sit on a couple of chairs in the shallow end and just like toss pennies into it was pretty nice. Yeah.
I was always, as the camp artist, I was always up under the tent in the shade at face paint, so I was fine. But I have a memory when I was so young, I was like 7, of you doing my shaving cream hairstyle. Yes.
That was a fun
carnival.
One to do.
That year, I remember I had Carrie Cowell was my Comanche counselor that year. She was like there one summer, and my head counselor. And you did that to my hair, and I only remember it because my mom is like so anti-glitter. She just says it gets everywhere, and in the shaving cream there was glitter in it, and she was like, "What did they do to you at camp?" And like, I think she hosed me off in the front yard before I came in the house.
Yeah.
But I'll never forget. That's not your fault.
You can do anything with shaving cream. Yeah. There's.
Oh yeah. So many core memories from camp. So.
Do you remember that the probably not Shea, the carnival, like the first year they started it, for probably like 4 or 5 years, the prize was actually peanuts. Can't do that.
Can't do that anymore.
Not okay. They're like, just give them peanuts. Who doesn't like peanuts?
So just who doesn't like peanuts?
Right. And then like as we were wont to do when they switched it over to animal crackers, we're like, a couple kids have allergies and now we can't have peanuts. like we were all like shilling for Big Peanut or something. But how many years have you been at Adventure then? 2, 3?
Yeah, just 2.
Okay.
It was my second summer, and we got to do the big unveiling of Pansiaco Pines this summer, which was super sweet.
Yeah.
And then Adventure's basically pretty much the same. And I try to bring, some of the same like stories of like why we're doing the activities to keep it fun, like on the whale watch and on the peanut butter pit, because that was like always so special and fun to me. So
yeah.
And I got to have Elizabeth was my assistant this summer too. Elizabeth Pansiaco, which was kind of fun. So, yeah.
So was John the like for you going through camp, was he your like the adventure counselor? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had John as a Cheyenne as my head counselor.
Okay.
And then as I became a counselor, he was like my only existing counselor that I still had from when I was a kid. Because I had like a lot of younger kids as my counselors, that was always nice to have around. And then I got to be an adventure assistant a few times, I think, and then I got to do a head thing. So
that's
awesome. So did you keep it kind of similar, like within like the week to week of how did you make a curriculum? Curriculums, what are these?
I feel like I actually had zero memory of curriculum besides Start, Whale Watch, and Cargo Net. And then everything in between was kind of like a little bit difficult to figure out. Just because in my head, I'd be like, okay, we're going to do the tire traverse today. And then I blink and the whole troop has done the tire traverse and we have 40 minutes left.
Yeah. That's my nightmare. Yeah.
Like the pacing of that was like definitely more difficult to figure out. But now I feel like I had it down pretty good after like one session, figuring out like it's also age groups as well. Like we have the same obstacles out there, and I try to keep it similar week to week, but then you have to do from 5 to, and it was like 13 last summer. So, but thankfully kids still have a good, it always brings such good energy out there because you're like so far out in the woods. Like it takes like a whole 5 minutes from the bridge to walk out there. And
that's right.
Just looking at it's very stimulating visually when you're walking past like all these hanging ropes and stuff. So it's super exciting at a young age, and I feel like they keep that with them. And it's fun to like, I feel like I can tell when kids have had like a day full of sitting at arts and crafts and sitting at like ceramics, and they get to adventure and they're like, what are we gonna do? Can we climb this tree? Can we do this?
Yeah.
So like,
yeah.
And they're really, it's actually pretty flexible. Because I'll be like, oh, we cannot all stand on one platform and try to get everybody on there today. Like you guys need to be doing crazy things.
Right.
I think I definitely have a loose. I was probably just like I am in school. Like poor Sam would be like, Shay, can you put, because we were supposed to get our curriculum up in the office before every session, and he'd be like, can you please just write anything, like put it on my wall, and I'd be like, it's different every day, like sorry.
Yeah, I remember like my first day, I was like 17, and Tom was like, oh, can you get your curriculum in? And I was like, oh, yep, sure. And I had to like look up what a curriculum was in order to do that. And I was like,
so this is a very true story. And I don't know if you were there, Shay. I don't think you were there, Ty. There was a session, a second session one year that it rained.
The famous second session.
Every single day, except for like
there.
one.
Yeah.
Were you there? It was.
Yeah, I was there for that summer.
It was, looking back, I think we got into the like, much the same as now we're in this COVID, like we're just living in dystopia and it's fine. That second session of camp, we were like, oh, we just come to camp and it rains. That's the thing. And it was like, I don't know, like we got through it, and I like maintain it ruined rainy days, because after that, if it were like raining a little, like more than a sprinkle, but like a little bit, they're like, we're going on with the day. Like we're just having camp in the rain today because we're not going back into the tent. Shay, were you ever on Rain Crew?
No, I wish. That was like kind of a social status thing. And I was like only 5'4" or something.
Well, you were busy drawing, doing the official sketch of the day. Right. So
that can't intersect, right?
No, it's like if you were like an athlete, you were like on the Rain Crew. And I was the
you're the artist.
And they made a big deal about, I don't know, once we got the Bluetooth like Bose speaker, not even the new iPad, just the speaker that we got, being the music assistant, and they called it the Bose Master.
Yes,
was like a really big deal. So when you would play the music for the competitions, and like I took that as like the biggest job in the world. The one summer I had to do it, I was like Steve Landry's assistant in music, and put on my own personal music and like stay up and stress and make the playlist for, I don't even think they asked me to do this, for Freeze Dance. That was all me. And like and that became like a big role that I think is still like, they give the Bose Master a Butterfinger at the end of the
it's a huge responsibility.
End of the session. Yeah.
Plus you're front and center at Sing the whole every day.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
It's huge. It's a huge space.
This year you had to like corral all the kids telling jokes. They'd be like, I'll get over there. And like you would be like, okay, go. Like,
So you
if
mean
were
to
the
tell me
actor.
you were the Bose master and the camp artist all at the same time?
Yes. It was
Wow.
tough.
Not rain crew, but
Right. Sure.
No.
Yeah. When so I feel like the Bose master should actually be called like the Alex Cutler like studio award or something. So when prior to, I guess, the official title, so Alex, who do you remember Alex Shea? Maybe
I need
he
to
did video.
yeah, he was just like AV guy. And it was like whenever we had a CD or needed something, Tom would be like, Alex, just like, it was just like shouted into the ether, and Alex would be like, okay. And he's like, yeah, he's probably the nicest guy on planet Earth. Maybe he's such a nice guy. And he'd be like, well, okay, yeah. And he, yeah, I feel like I love how those like kind of little jobs come about, because they all kind of just like organically are like, this is something we need, and it's a thing, and then it like instantly becomes a thing. Like I love that so much.
Like it's like for certain activities you get to also have this responsibility of the job, like the games, you have to be the bell master, the bell ringer.
Yes, yeah.
That's
or
right.
like and so sometimes you'll see where like assistants land, and you'll be like, oh no, that's going to be our music. We'll never get anything done.
Yeah.
I remember the pool CIT used to be like Ellie and Tom's like servant that week, and so like you would like maybe like put a little bit of chlorine in the pool in the morning, and then you would just be like passing out flyers for everybody. Like that was like the dreaded position when you were a CIT, like if you got put at the pool, like, and they would always be so mean. They'd be like, and you always have to be ready to get in the pool if we need you. You'd be like, what? Like,
I remember asking a pool CIT one time, like, so what is your like responsibility? What do you have to do? And she's like, oh, well, I have to make sure that there's always ice that I can then put into Kelly's water. And I said, and like when I heard that, I was like, Kelly, is this a real job? She's like, well, it's important. It's important. We need this. It's important to be hydrated.
There's Ty. Look at this.
Look
at this. Got the tree.
Oh, we got the tree. Oh, we've got a background. It's like it's
1 second. Let me just close the door to the studio.
Oh, look, you've got a real studio situation.
Oh yeah. I got the studio. I got.
Oh, I should go my headphones.
Oh yeah. I have blue light glasses. I am.
Oh, we're really set then.
So I think this thing just does itself now.
Yeah, you're such a pro now.